I'm intermittent. We got 3 minutes.
Okay, you good or no good? They're on. Bill should be good.
No, I can hear myself when I speak in the mic, but I don't hear.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, now we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. I'm good now.
Okay, Mike, you got the internet. You got the boats.
The what?
The boats.
What's the boats?
The flotilla.
The flotilla's loaded, I told you that.
It's ready, right?
Yes.
It's on board. Okay. What about the top 10?
Didn't load us.
Pardon me?
Did not load us.
I can't hear you.
Didn't load it.
It's not loaded? Okay, we're not going to do the top 10 tonight then. What about this other thing about the virus? Did you get that done?
1 minute out.
Did you get that done, Mike?
Yes, sir, it's done.
You need some water?
But it'd be nice for down the road, yes.
We'll take like some breaks in here after.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
After about 13, 14 minutes, we'll take a 2-minute break. Then we'll go another section. So you'll really be working in the second section. We're going to talk about a number of these other things up front.
But you want me up here in the first section?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I want you to participate.
We're going live here, bud.
You're a good talker. Just we'll just talk about things.
Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary with your host, Uncle Ronnie. And now, here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Hey, it's your host, Uncle Ronnie. Hey, welcome. Today is Earthday. Anybody know that? Since you're sequestered, you probably didn't pay a lot of attention to Earthday, but it's kind of interesting. What other day is today? Anybody know? Bill, do you know? We talked about this.
I think there's somebody from across the North Atlantic over there in Mother Russia. Maybe one of the founders. Good old Vladimir Lenin.
Yes, you're right. It was Vladimir Lenin's birthday. I wonder if there's any connection, Bill, between
Oh,
Earth
surely
Day.
not. Surely you jest.
It just happens 365 days. Listen, I have a special guest here. You probably can tell from the voice there that he's not a native Arizonan. He is a Texan, and we always enjoy Texans because that's the biggest. Well, it's the second biggest now, and Alaska's the biggest state. And Bill's been a good friend of mine. He is on the Election Integrity Committee, and we're going to be talking about that very shortly. But we want to go a number of things we want to do in the news, and there's a lot of things in the news. But before we really get started, we have some very special things that Mr. O'Connor, and Mr. O'Connor's off camera, but he is a chicken pot pie eater. I might tell you that right now. And yum yum, don't drop any on the control panel. But the other thing that he does, he's made a couple of really special videos. Now, I'm a real Trump fan. How about you, Bill? You Trumper?
Never have been a never Trumper, that's for sure.
Okay.
I love what the man's trying to do for this nation, that's for sure.
He's done a phenomenal job through this coronavirus thing. But one of the things, Bill, it's kind of funny because we're in Arizona where there's not a lot of water, but the people of Florida have done this marvelous thing, and they have a flotilla, a Donald Trump flotilla, and Mr. O'Connor has put this together with music. And so enjoy watching, first of all, what the people of Florida think about our president, Donald Trump. Okay, did you all enjoy that? The Pirates of the Caribbean was the music, and wow, I'll tell you that it's nice to have a little waterway in your backyard, Bill. Unfortunately, the only thing we have is our little Arizona canals. I can't imagine seeing a yacht going down the Arizona Canal. But at any rate, that's one of the things that they do. There's a lot of things in the news right now, and I want to talk about a couple of things. One of them, and I want to go through our First Amendment first of all, Bill, if I may, because I'm really concerned about the press in the United States. You know, they have the First Amendment, and I'm going to read this. This is our Constitution. For those of you that are listening in other countries, our First Amendment to our Constitution guarantees our right to free speech. And that's why you'll find that Bill and I will say a lot of things here, and we're not abashed by saying them. You know, that Donald Trump is a great president, and there are presidents in the past, namely Obama, who was not a great president. We're not afraid to say that. At any rate, our First Amendment says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, so we have freedom of religion in this country, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech and the press, and the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now, that's been going on, Bill, this week specifically. The press, the president calls it fake news, and it is fake news, believe me. Now, we have had in Arizona on Monday, we have had big demonstrations down at the state capitol. Some people didn't like it. It's our right to do that, and it's okay to do that. And when we have a problem, we should never, ever, ever be afraid to seek redress from our government. Unfortunately, many states, and in the United States we have 50 states, each state has its own way of dealing with this coronavirus. One of the problems that we have noticed is that some of them have been pretty restrictive, actually taking your rights away. And I wanted to just talk a little bit about that. In Arizona, we have been very fortunate. Our governor is a Republican, and we're unashamed to be Republicans. Bill's even wearing his Republican red outfit tonight. And one of the things that I for some reason, they keep everything closed in this country because of this virus. We're finding out a lot of things about this virus that we never knew before. And we've closed a lot of businesses, and economically, a lot of people are being squeezed, and actually, some people are being ruined because they have businesses and they've not been able to open their businesses for well over a month now. For instance, next door we have a nail place for ladies' nails, pedicures, manicures, and the people there are entrepreneurs that had managed to escape from Vietnam, and they haven't had their place open, Bill, for a month. I don't know how they're going to be able to continue to pay their rent, their bills, and so forth. Additionally, there's a barber shop. This man is from New York, and he's also been closed. And through this little mall here, we've had a lot of people closed, and it's really a shame. And today, our governor got at a press conference, and we were hoping that he would say, "Let's open up our businesses," because we have some new facts about this virus that may interest you. Mr. O'Connor, did you have that? Can we pull that up?
Yes, sir.
This is Mr. O'Connor's done a little special on this, and I'd like you to enjoy this as well.
The overall lethality of COVID-19 is between 0.1% and 0.4%, and thus up to 20 times lower than initially assumed by the World Health Organization. Higher values for Wuhan were obtained because many people with only mild or no symptoms were not recorded. 50% to 80% of test-positive individuals remain symptom-free. Even among the 70 to 79-year-old persons, about 60% remain symptom-free. Many more show only mild symptoms. The median age of the deceased in most countries, including Italy, is over 80 years, and only 1% of the deceased had no serious previous illness. Strongly increased death rates, as in northern Italy, can be influenced by additional risk factors such as very high air pollution and microbial contamination, as well as a collapse in the care of the elderly and sick due to mass panic and lockdown measures. The number of people suffering from unemployment, psychological problems, and domestic violence as a result of the measures taken has exploded in the U.S. and worldwide. Several experts believe that the measures may claim more lives than the virus itself.
In January of 2017, Anthony Fauci told a crowd at Georgetown University that there would be a surprise outbreak during the Trump presidency.
There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Well, surprise, surprise. I hope you enjoyed that. Mr. O'Connor put that together, and we do appreciate that. This is a serious disease. Nobody's wanting to make any bones about that it is very serious. And we're of the opinion that it's probably not more serious than some other diseases that we have had, like the N1A1, Ebola, and so forth. I got some numbers, if we can believe the numbers from the. Did you make a graph on that, Mr. O'Connor?
I didn't know.
Okay, I took the number of people. I was amazed at the number of people in the United States that die every year. It's an appalling number, of course, for numerous reasons: old age, diabetes, auto accidents, suicides, and so forth. And believe it or not, we have almost 3 million people that die in the United States per year, or 8,000 people a day. Now, as we've gone through and extrapolated this information, we're finding out that there are no more people dying now than on any average day in America in 2017, the 2018. I didn't have the 2019 numbers available to me, but it's really interesting that as much as what has happened here, closing things down and so forth, Bill, that we still have approximately the same number of people dying that have been dying in prior years, which is kind of interesting, because the last part of what Mr. O'Connor was saying is that is the cure as bad or worse than the disease?
Well, it sure is on the economic system, that's for sure.
And you know, we're, like I say, down here, the parking lot out here on any given night is full, because we were right next to the Fry's superstores here. And 6 o'clock, you know, you can go out there and lay in the parking lot and go to sleep. Nobody's going to run you over. So we're really concerned about that this is something that's going to happen. Now, there's other things, Bill, and I wanted to talk to you about this because the news, I think, drives this. And I'm wondering if we don't have a media epidemic and not a coronavirus epidemic going on. And I'll give you an idea. The press and the liberal Democrats complained that we needed hospital ships. We have 2 wonderful hospital ships for time of war. Thank God we're not at war. And they took these things out of mothballs. They worked 24 hours a day to get them to Los Angeles and to New York City. The one in New York City is called the Comfort. It's a hospital ship. Has 1,000 beds. It's been there for 3 weeks now. 3 weeks. The governor of New York was complaining. As you know, he actually whines. He doesn't complain, he whines. And they're taking the Comfort and they're taking it back to Norfolk, Virginia, because in 3 weeks they've had 179 patients. That's it. In the United States, we're laying off nurses, doctors, and so forth. Don't have anything to do because we have taken all of our hospitals and we've said, we can't have any elective surgery, Bill, because we're going to fill these hospitals with COVID patients. Didn't happen. And as you said, go ahead.
Ron, I had an emergency extraction on the weekend, and on the real bad tooth, and the other tooth, they told me I needed more or less an immediate root canal because I was experiencing pretty extreme pain in the one that was left. And I was scheduled for Monday morning. They canceled it because they said it was elective. And I said, well, what am I to do if this tooth really goes off on me? We suggest you double up on the Tylenol and stay away from cold water.
Oh boy, then you double up on the Tylenol, and the next week you go in for liver damage. So I don't know. There's no winning here. But we actually have nurses and medical personnel that are being laid off right now, and that's one of the reasons for that is because there's nothing there. Now, at the same time, each state does a different thing because we are 50 individual countries under the label of the United States. So we have some of these. For instance, Bill, I was kind of interested. You can't have the barber shop open, so we got a lot of shaggy people walking around.
I'm one of them.
I wish I could grow hair. But anyway, we have shaggy people walking around. We have ladies with nails that are breaking and whatever all happens to nails when they get as long as most of the ladies have. But yet we can leave abortion clinics open, Bill. Sad, very sad. We can leave marijuana dispensaries open.
Well, we got to keep the folks, chilled out under trying times.
And we can also leave the liquor stores open. Now, in Michigan, you can go fishing in a boat that is a canoe or a kayak, but you can't use a motorboat. I just don't understand this thing. And it's getting worse, and the people of the United States are now beginning to get very restless. So, I don't know what's going to happen over that. Now, another thing we're going to go, let me check something. I want to use this as a transition, but Biden is a presumptive Democrat nominee for President of the United States to run against President Donald Trump. And once again, my hat's off to Donald Trump. What a leader. I mean, this man is not only a leader in our country, but a world leader. And Joe Biden says that he thinks that we're gonna be able to say when this is all over that this is going to provide the Democrats with opportunities to get things done that they could never have done before. That's scary because they're using this crisis. And what is their motto, Bill?
Well, they say that I've heard that they wish to never let a crisis pass.
Never let a good crisis go to waste. So they're trying to promote socialism. And socialism is the very thing that if any of you are out there and you're wondering what socialism is, you're under it right now. You can't go out. The stores are told to close. They can't open. You're told what type of surgeries you can have. This is a free market system, Bill. When you have a tooth problem, you should be able to go in and have that fixed. That's free markets. Now they're telling you, well, you can't do that because. And it's a shame. Now,
I think we have a clip on Biden.
I want to go with here's going to be my segue. This is cool, Bill, because we're talking about elections in the next section, and Bill's going to be very instrumental in this. But here's what the problem is. A lot of people are saying that we have to have a new norm in the United States. Throughout the history of America, we have always gone to the polls on Election Day. Now, we have other means now with early voting and that, but the polls have always been open. Even during the Civil War, the war was stopped so people could vote. That's how much we believe in voting. Now, they're wanting to everything is mail in, and we know what that's going to be about. So I noticed that Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson, and Michelle Obama are planning a huge kickoff for a promotion of vote by mail. And with that, Mr. O'Connor, we can take a break. We'll see you on the other side. And Bill's gonna take over here. He's gonna tell us what we need to know. have a face for radio? I know I do. And when I found how easy it was to get started in an interesting, informative radio program, I jumped at the chance. Since AM radio program is being replaced by podcasting, you can even create your own programming from your home. Hi, I'm Ron Lutters, better known as Uncle Ronnie on my Fighting Back radio program. If you have a business, a hobby, or a passion and you would like to share that with others, then podcasting may be for you. With strong desire, some talent, and a deep passion, you too could get your radio message on your very own radio programming on Hub Radio Phoenix Network. We have one of the best broadcast engineers in Arizona to help you every step of the way. If you are interested in the enjoyment of podcasting, call me at 602-677-1496 to discuss the effective and affordable way to own your very own radio program. That's 602-677-1496.
Come home to the gated community of Chrisman Peaks and 5,350 square feet of pure luxury. Floor plans include 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, 4-car garage, home theater, even guest quarters. Breathtaking views are included at no extra charge. For more information, call 602-505-0004. Custom homes with the quality you expect, the value you demand. Call 602-505-0004 today.
Camelback Toyota, located conveniently on 16th Street in Camelback, off the 51 freeway, easy to get to right here in the city. You work downtown, stop on your way home, take a look at some beautiful new cars, used cars. Derek and John O'Malley Jr. and my mechanics in the back, Abe and Jereb and Tom, my man Jake, Felix, John Wicks is there, Levi. They are trained and trained heavily. They know everything backwards and forwards on any Toyota. Customer satisfaction, numero uno at Camelback Toyota.
It started 10 years ago as a conservative discussion group to combat leftist liberal ideas that were destroying the American way of life. Thus, the Arizona 2010 Project was born. Over the years, it grew and embraced the Tea Party and had a dynamic effect on local, state, and national elections. That's right, the political power of the movement has grown, and now, on its 10th birthday, the Arizona Project has moved to a bigger location and has expanded its vision. The Arizona Project is now producing podcasts, internet radio shows, video projects, along with the same history of obtaining impressive guest speakers and community leaders for our weekly meetings. The Arizona Project is now located at 3238 East Bell Road in Phoenix. For more information, call 602-677-1496. That's 602-677-1496. Please join us to promote the American values that have made this nation great and will continue to make it great. The Arizona Project, celebrating 10 phenomenal years. You're listening to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary. And now here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Well, welcome back. We're glad that you hung on through that, through those little ads that we have in the Arizona Project. Once again, we do it every Monday night. The problem is that we are kind of locked down. We can't have groups of more than 10 people, and we respect and honor that. But we're getting tired of it, and we want to get back to our normal thing. So hopefully that's coming up here real soon. At any rate, Bill has been involved for many years in the dealings with integrity and so forth, and we all believe in one man, one vote, and that's the way that goes. No matter what way you vote, you should only have one thing to say. And there's some problems with this in the United States today, and it was encapsulated in a Prager video about voter fraud. Mr. O'Connor, if we can run that, and then we can talk about because the 3 basic things I think that you want to talk about are in this video. So please sit back, enjoy this, and then we're going to listen to what Bill has to say.
While the major media fixates on the influence of foreign powers on American elections, a much more serious attack has been taking place right under our noses. Good old-fashioned, homegrown voter fraud. Let's look at 3 of the worst offenses. Example number 1, bloated voter rolls. In 244 counties across the United States, there are more registered voters than there are people legally eligible to vote. 29 states have counties with more registered voters than legal residents, and 8 states have more registered voters than actual voting age people. When the Supreme Court upheld Ohio's efforts to clean up its own voter rolls in 2018, the majority opinion cited Pew Center statistics. 24 million voter registrations in the United States are either invalid or significantly inaccurate, and nearly 3 million people are believed to be registered to vote in more than one state. These numbers have a shocking implication. It's very easy to exploit our voting system. During an undercover investigation, New York City detectives made 63 attempts to cast illegal ballots based on flawed voter rolls. They were successful 61 times. Similar investigations in other cities and other states produced the same dismal results. But phony voters on the rolls is just one threat to election integrity. Here's example number 2, ballot harvesting. In 2016, the state of California, one of the states with more registered voters than citizens, became the first state to legalize the practice of ballot solicitation. That is, the collection and delivery of ballots by third parties. With no trace of irony, this is called ballot harvesting. It works like this. In California, organizations with a clear political agenda are legally permitted to go to a location, say a nursing home or a church, and collect, literally harvest, ballots. The third party then transports these ballots to a polling place or an election office. This raises an obvious question. Once this third party collects the ballots, what's to stop them from changing them? Or from just throwing out the ones they don't like? A guilty conscience? How do we know ballot harvesters from Democratic organizations aren't destroying Republican ballots? Or Republican harvesters aren't destroying Democratic ballots? We don't. We have no way of knowing. Let's look at one specific example. On election night in 2018, California's Central Valley Republican Congressman David Valadao held a 5,000 vote lead over his challenger, Democrat T.J. Cox. The margin was wide enough that the networks even called the race for Valadao, the Republican incumbent. But wait, there were late ballots still to be delivered by the third-party vote harvesters. When those votes came in, they broke so overwhelmingly for Cox, in a historically conservative district no less, that Valadao's 5,000 vote victory became an 862 vote loss. Maybe that was just a coincidence. Or maybe not. In the first major election after ballot harvesting was allowed in California, Democrats won every single congressional seat in Orange County, which had been a Republican stronghold for decades. A year earlier, no sober person would have thought that possible. Voter corruption example number 3, voting by non-citizens. Should you have to be a citizen to vote? Silly question, right? It was once, not anymore. According to a recent poll, more than half of Democrats, 53%, support granting illegal immigrants the right to vote. Forget the legal ones. Democratic National Chair Tom Perez, before working for the Obama administration, worked for a group called Casa de Maryland, which has been a longtime advocate for expanding non-citizen voting rights. Yes, it's true that federal law prohibits non-citizens from voting in federal elections, but 11 states, all run by Democrats, currently allow non-citizen voting of some kind. Cities such as Chicago and San Francisco, for example, allow non-citizens to vote in certain citywide elections. Why? Because for progressives, demography is destiny, and many see illegal immigrants as future voters. So there you have it, 3 different ways to tamper with the vote: bloated voter rolls, ballot harvesting, voting by non-citizens. These are just 3 ways in which the left creates a clear advantage for itself on Election Day. The major media will tell you that corrupt voting practices either don't exist or are so minor they don't matter. But to believe that, you have to believe 2 things: that voter registration rolls are accurate and secure from fraudulent registrations, and that no one is trying to manipulate the results for political purposes. Those are 2 very big leaps. Maybe you want to make those leaps because you like the results they produce. But if you care about free and fair elections, no matter which party you belong to, you need to pay attention. Or pretty soon, free and fair elections will be a quaint relic of the past. No foreign government can undermine our democracy, but Americans can. And some do. I'm Eric Eggers, investigative reporter for the Government Accountability Institute for Prager University.
This video was made possible through a generous donation from Bob and Ruth Reingold.
Thank you for watching this video. To keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Wow, that was pretty powerful. Bill, what got you involved with this concept to start with?
Well, it's really interesting, Ron. It's sort of a convoluted story, but I was in the old LD7, and after redistricting, I ended up in the new LD 28, and I was only able to be a state committeeman for one time because I refused to put John McCain's campaign sign in my yard during the primary. I did it in the general election once he been through the primary, but I refused to do it. So I was forbidden or failed to be able to get elected state committeeman ever again. So I was very active in the Tea Party at that time, and so I decided that I'm going to start working on the system. And so Lynn Breyer and I decided we'd start working on it. And she'd been working with the Secretary of, well, back then it was Senator Reagan, Michelle Reagan, and about ballot harvesting. And so they ran a bill, and it got so mishmashed in the sausage making process at the Capitol in 14 that the first thing the Republicans had to do the next session was immediately kill the bill because the Democrats had already.
Bill, hang on. We got a hard break here at the half-hour mark that we
Okay.
got to take. Sorry we took so long with the film and that coming in. But we'll be right back, and we're going to listen to the rest of this story. I know some of it because I was in the same LD for a short time. At any rate, we'll be right back, and Bill's going to be telling us all of the things that we need to know about voting.
China is the oldest culture in the world, with a written history dating back some 3,500 years. And even 3,500 years ago, China's civilization was old. What do they attribute their longevity to? Healthy eating. Put some longevity in your life and enjoy fine Chinese cuisine at Yao's Restaurant at 2487 South Gilbert Road in Gilbert. For takeout and catering, call 480-899-0308. That's 480-899-0308. Yao's Fine Chinese Cuisine. Las Vegas, Nevada, regarded as the Mecca of gambling, stage shows, excitement, and memories that last a lifetime.
I want to be around to pick up the pieces when somebody breaks your heart.
Hi, everybody. This is Mike Connors. What better way to remember this fabulous city than with your very own Welcome to Las Vegas sign? This amazing replica looks exactly like the original, with backlighting, blinking red and yellow star, and bordered by chasing Tivoli lights. This animated sign makes a great holiday gift and one that'll be remembered for a lifetime. To order this timeless piece of Las Vegas history, log on to the welcometolvsign.com or call 702-735-7446. A percentage of the proceeds are donated to the Nevada Cancer Institute.
Flynn's Flowers knows what the kid and you really wants.
Hey, hold it down.
The Flynn's Flowers snack pack is the perfect gift for anyone.
Thanks, this is just what I need.
Great. Now how about a kiss?
Don't push it.
Get a room.
The snack pack has cookies, chips, pudding, nuts, and lots of other goodies.
What's a goodie?
Read your script, kid.
See the snack pack live on the Flynn's Flowers website at flynn'sflowers.net. Order a snack pack today for that special.
Thank you.
Or send a snack pack to someone in the military. That's flynn'sflowers.net. Flynn's Flowers, the official florist of Air America Phoenix. The Flynn's Flowers snack pack. It's almost too big to eat.
These are great. Got any more?
What's that, number 9?
flynn'sflowers.net. Order a snack pack today and charge it.
Want a sucker?
Bubblegum.
That's flynn'sflowers.net.
Can I get a snack pack? You're listening to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary. And now here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Welcome back. We're fighting back, and tonight we have Bill Sparky Smith. Can I call you Sparky?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
That's on my business card.
Okay, we're talking about voter integrity, and when we had to take this last break, Bill was talking to us about how he got involved with this. And Arizona is kind of an unusual state in that we have some different laws. We're the last of the original 48 states, for those of you that are listening outside of Arizona. And maybe because of that, we had some little different ideas as to how to do things. Not necessarily the right way.
We became a state when right when the first wave of progressivism was really building, and with all the mines and stuff that were down here, there were a lot of wobblies and wood and that kind of stuff, and so a lot of mine unionizing. So yeah, Arizona has a real sort of strange history in that respect. There's no doubt about it. Back to our story about how I got involved in this. Anyway, so after they had to repeal it in 14, Reagan says she wasn't running it again because she was going to run for Secretary of State. And so she...
That's when she was a senator.
She was a senator at the time. And so anyway, so when she became Secretary of State, she worked with us, and we got Michelle Ugenti, who is one of the most tireless representatives, and I call her a representative and not an elected official, because she works hard to represent her constituents. She is one of the shining examples of a representative, in my opinion, in this state.
Right, we've had her on this show before, and I agree.
And anyway, so we got through the ballot harvesting bill. The irony, when I was finding and when I was doing all the research, and I researched all over this nation, looking for a good example, at the time, California had the best ballot harvesting law in the nation. We patterned a lot of what we did after California. Our parent organization, Election Integrity Project California, had been observing elections in California, because in California, unlike Arizona, citizens have the right to observe their elections. And so they literally can walk right up behind the person that's working the signature desk on the mail-in ballots or whatever and watch and observe. If they see something that's not right, they can't interrupt them. They go ask for a supervisor, et cetera, et cetera. Well, anyway, all that would happen when they would document all this malfeasance in the election system over there is the lawmakers, because it's such a one-sided state, they just changed the rules to where it was no longer illegal. So California went from having the best anti-ballot harvesting law in the nation by changing and omitting 6 words. It now has the most liberal ballot harvesting law in the nation. And that's what you can do with the stroke of the power of the pen. But anyway, so once this got in effect, I spent the next 2 years trying to find out and find somebody and how you could get this enforced. I talked to county attorneys. I talked to this. I talked to that. I talked to police departments. I talked to sheriff's departments. Nobody was willing to engage me and talk about how you could enforce the ballot harvesting law. So in 16, our executive director, Vera Anderson, became so enraged with the LULAC settlement that she started talking to, in 17, Linda Payne, one of our co-founders from California. And so she worked tirelessly, and we started talking to Election Integrity Project California about what we were doing over here, and they liked what they heard, but they had a 501c3, and that they were able to get in 17 once it changed, because they hadn't been able to get one up until then. And they're so jealously protected that they didn't know how that they could maintain control and yet us be a more or less autonomous group. And I suggested that we be an LLC, and we could be a wholly owned subsidiary of them. So it would give us instant credits, because they, with their documented evidence of what they had seen in election malfeasance in California, they hired Judicial Watch as their attorneys. They had a client-attorney relationship. It wasn't Judicial's deal. Election Integrity California hired them, used their documentation of all of election malfeasance, but that's what we do. We recruit and train volunteers to research, observe, and document the electoral process. That's what we do. But we document it in such a manner that it is submissible in a court of law, because up until you have it in a very locked down legal format, because virtually hearsay is virtually never admitted in a court of law. So you have to have documentation that will stand up to scrutiny. So that's what we do. We recruit and we train volunteers to research, observe, and document malfeasance in the election system.
Well, as you said, Bill, one of the problems here is, I don't want to call it secrecy, but they have some very serious laws about people who can be in the polling place at any given time.
You know, Ron, one of the really sad things is we think that we are a fairly conservative state here. We have Arizona has the most onerous anti-civil rights as far as we citizens having the right to observe and protect our election system of any state in the nation. We are more restricted and have less rights as citizens in the electoral process in this state than any other state in the nation.
Oh, wow. Wow, I didn't know that. I know I've tried to do some things with counting ballots afterwards down at the recorder's office.
Well, for example, in California and in 19 other states, the citizens have the right to be present while ballots are being handled. I mean, some of them have some restrictions. Some states, for example, like Michigan and Wisconsin, you have to give them a 24-hour notice that you're going to be there observing, but you have that right. The citizens have the right. And there's about 9 or 10 other states that don't have it codified in statutes, but they let the citizens go. When we are talking to groups, recruiting volunteers, we get a lot of people here in Arizona that have recently moved out here. We were addressing a group that had several people that had moved here from New York and New Jersey and Chicago and stuff, and they were flabbergasted when we told them that candidates do not have the right to have a representative in a polling place or in the counting rooms. They just couldn't believe it. They thought that was so unreal.
Now, these are called poll watchers?
Well, when it's in a polling place, it's a poll watcher. But in the counting rooms, the citizens in California have the right to be right there looking over that person's shoulder, looking at the computer screen to see the signature on the computer screen, and they have and check it on the envelope. We don't have that right here.
Wow.
By statute, the only people allowed in the counting rooms in Maricopa County or any other county are one attorney from each of the 2 largest political parties.
One.
So nobody else can be in there. Now, Maricopa County has 44 computer counting stations. Now, you think 2 people can watch what are going on at 44 stations?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
No. So anyway, that's where we are.
You know, it reminds me, Bill, of something that I remember from, gosh knows how long ago. I think it was Joseph Stalin said, "It's not who votes, it's who counts the votes that matters."
Uncle Joe. Your Uncle Ronnie? Well, Uncle Joe, he understood. He understood. He says it exactly. That's his quotation. It matters not who votes. What matters is who counts.
Oh boy, that's something else. Now, you know, in the video, we addressed 3 different things. One, what are we like with clearing our voter rolls? I know there was a time when President Trump took over when he was wanting all of the different states to begin to clear their voter rolls.
Well, that's a really interesting phenomena, because the Help America, HAVA, which we short for Help America Vote Act, or Motor Voter, we typically refer to it as Motor Voter, that was passed in 1993. One of the provisions in that was, and the ones that the Democrats always sue under, is the part where anything that you're dealing with the the motor vehicle department, that you have to offer that person the right to, the original statute says you have to offer them the right to register to vote. Well, the way that has evolved around, and Oregon went to it in 16, and California's followed suit, and now here in Arizona, the League of Women Voters here in Arizona sued the state of Arizona for improper enforcement of the Motor Voter Act, HB House Bill 2, 1993. And the settlement is, it wasn't taken to judgment. The settlement is that now you have to opt out of being registered to vote instead of being offered the right to vote, to register if you want to be. That when they ask you, when you walk up there to the window, they now have to ask you, for no matter what you're doing there, would you like to register to vote? If that person doesn't immediately say, no, I do not choose to register to vote, then if the client doesn't respond like that, then they start asking the questions to register them to vote. And if they don't respond, they can literally stop doing business with them until they comply.
Wow. Listen, we're going to go into another break here. This is one of our key songs. I think it was a Henry Mancini, Summer Place. And tomorrow was supposed to be 97 degrees, so I think we're moving very rapidly into the summer place.
I can remember seeing that movie as a young teenager, and it scared the bejesus out of me.
Well, listen, we'll be right back. Join us on the other side as Bill tells us a little more about the voter integrity organization, the LLC. See you there. Don't go away, because we're fighting back.
It started 10 years ago as a conservative discussion group to combat leftist liberal ideas that were destroying the American way of life. Thus, the Arizona 2010 Project was born. Over the years, it grew and embraced the Tea Party and had a dynamic effect on local, state, and national elections. That's right, the political power of the movement has grown, and now, on its 10th birthday, the Arizona Project has moved to a bigger location and has expanded its vision. The Arizona Project is now producing podcasts, internet radio shows, video projects, along with the same history of obtaining impressive guest speakers and community leaders for our weekly meetings. The Arizona Project is now located at 3238 East Bell Road in Phoenix. For more information, call 602-677-1496. That's 602-677-1496. Please join us to promote the American values that have made this nation great and will continue to make it great. The Arizona Project, celebrating 10 phenomenal years.
Wild Tiger right here in Phoenix, whoa, big fella, is reminding everyone to please give blood. By doing so, you may save the life of a child, surgery patient, or an accident victim. So give blood. It's safe, it's simple, and it's needed. That message courtesy of Wild Tiger at 2631 North Central Avenue in Phoenix, where they invite you in to enjoy the finest authentic Thai cuisine like Si Penang, Pad Thai, and ginger fish. Stop in or call 602-241-8995 for carryout. Wild Tiger is on the air because they care.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Join me live and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family. This month, Quantum Digest is on special. It's the most purified USP plant enzymes. No matter what you eat, it has the power to support its digestion. Buy 2 bottles, get the third one free. Call 800-370-3447.
Sight is a very precious gift. If the quality of your eyesight is becoming a concern, see a world of difference at Family Eye Care Associates. With over a quarter-century of experience in the Valley, Family Eye Care Associates offers complete diagnosis and treatment of cataracts, glaucoma, diabetes and dry eyes, and thorough retinal evaluations with dilated exams and retinal imaging. Specialized doctors, highly trained and certified technicians, licensed opticians, pediatric and geriatric care, contact lens fittings, and high-quality lenses and frames at prices you'll like. And as always, all of this comes with friendly, personalized service. We accept most insurances and have 2 convenient locations in both the East and West Valley. Give Family Eye Care Associates a call now. In Scottsdale, dial 480-419-3900. For the Glendale area, dial 602-843-2900. Family Eye Care Associates is a proud member of Vision Source, a network of premier eye care practices.
I want to live better and do more for the environment. I just want to be healthy, but I don't even know where to start.
I just subscribed to an awesome magazine called Green Living with great tips, events, and recipes that help me go green and live healthy.
Green Living magazine will inspire you to make eco-conscious decisions for a healthy life and a healthy planet. Pick up Green Living today at Fry's, Whole Foods, and 500 other locations statewide, or subscribe at greenlivingaz.com. Find us on Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. Live, work, and play green with Green Living magazine.
You're listening to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary. And now here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Okay, we're back. We haven't eaten either, so if any of you think we were having a little munchies in between, we weren't. See? No Cheetos or anything in my teeth. Listen, we're visiting here with Sparky, and he's with the Voter Integrity Act. We were talking during the break about these, basically the 3 things, where we have bloated voter rolls, where we have the what we call ballot harvesting, and the worst thing ever is people that are not citizens of the United States voting in our elections. So let's proceed on with this first one about the bloated voter rolls. When we saw the little film here put out by Prager University, I'm shocked that we have more voters in many areas than we do people.
It's amazing. In this lawsuit that I mentioned in California, where our parent company sued Orange County and in the state of California, and hired Judicial Watch to be their attorney, they had a very leftist judge, and who was retired, that came out of retirement to just handle this the way the judges do on a lot of this stuff. And this judge was flabbergasted and blown away with the quality of the documentation that we had. And his court clerk told our co-founders that in the 20 years that she had been his lead secretary on dealing with the documentation, that was her job, was to keep stuff, not documentation, but the what was presented as not a witness, but evidence, that she'd never seen such a great organized position. But that's what we do. I mean, we make sure that the counties may not have the elections the same, but the way we document what we see in this county is exactly the same as another county, so that when we do get in a lawsuit, that we have our ducks in a row. And we've prevailed in hearings and stuff because we have overwhelming evidence that there's election malfeasance. And it's not voter fraud that, like Prager referred to it as. Voter fraud is when one person doesn't, like double votes. And there's, in Prager University, you go to it, and here in Arizona, there's about 12 or 15 people at the last couple of election cycles that they filed on, and they have felony convictions because they voted multiple times. There's a lot of multiple voters. One of the reasons that we were formed, and California's formed, and Nevada's formed, is because we know there's a lot of people that are registered, and some of them are registered in all 3 states. And because we've run the data on some of this stuff. Anyway, towards that end, a lot of the voter rolls are just people that die, that don't get off. A lot of people move away. Here in Arizona, we have, with our permanent early voting system, we have a tremendous bloated rolls because it's really, really hard and very expensive to get people off of those permanent early voter rolls unless they don't respond, and, So there's a lot of people on there that shouldn't be there.
Yes, I wanted to talk too, and I remember this. I'll try to keep some names out of this to protect the guilty. Downtown in Phoenix, there was a person there that had a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, happened to also be an elected official, and would have your ticket to get into a free buffet was to bring your ballot down. You know who I'm talking about. Do you recall that issue?
No, but that might have happened before I got here. But that is a very common practice. There was a law enforcement official testifying in Texas in front of a Senate committee there in Texas, and they talking, and it's not voter harvesting. That is ballot manufacturing or count manufacturing.
I think you're right. I think the ballot had to be empty, and then they would tell you.
Oh yeah.
How to vote.
And
then you get a free Mexican dinner.
Well, and they gave the example of a guy there in multiple people in the Rio Grande Valley, and it happens in Dallas. I mean, when we lived in Dallas, there was a lady that got busted working nursing homes. They caught her with 167 ballots in her purse.
Oh, jeez.
And that's the great Honorable Sheila.
Whatever happened? Remember years ago when we were kids, Bill?
Right.
Remember they used to say, "One man, one vote. One man, one vote." That was a basic concept of American constitutional democracy.
But this ballot harvesting thing and vote manufacturing, there's some people that are really at risk here, and for it happened in California. And I'm going to always refuse to refer to California, because in California they've documented, it's been through a lawsuit, so it's not hearsay. And the only thing I'm say is here in Arizona we see very similar patterns. But the illegals are told over and over and over again, if you have a driver's license, you can vote, because they register them with the federal ballot. There's nothing on the California doesn't even put "Are you a citizen" on it anymore. There's some here in Arizona that I've seen that don't have "Are you a citizen?" And anyway, but if somebody follows up, like our organization did in California, the way you check this false voting is you catch and retain the envelopes after the vote, and then you pull a precinct and you go knock on the doors and see who all is behind these doors. And so, but in Texas, what they caught were Meals on Wheels people working all these senior citizens and say, this and that and other, and I'll bring you a special extra treat if you'll register. And so they'd bring them a treat. And so then when they get the ballot the next year, they said, now, when you get this, keep it until I come around and deliver the meal. And they'd get them to sign it, and then they would take the ballot off, and who knows. So that's what they caught with the field workers in California. Another real vulnerable group is the nursing homes, because the nursing homes, a lot of these people, we lose our mental facilities as we grow older, and a lot of these people don't know what they're doing, but they can
better watch that. I resemble that.
Oh, I do too. I mean, I'm fixing to have a 78th birthday here in a few months, a little over a month and a half. But anyway, that's another thing. The other thing that's real vulnerable that they've caught and people got in trouble with in California is students that are told that because they're living in a dorm more hours there, but if they have an out-of-state scholarship, it's a felony. They're breaking it. So I mean, they can lose their scholarships if they get caught. If they're carrying out-of-state money and they vote in Arizona, and if they get caught, then they can lose their scholarship money.
Wow. Well, we're getting real close to the end here, Bill, where we're out of time. This is an hour show. On Mondays, we try to do 2 hours for the Arizona Project, which may end if we ever get out of this malaise of can't have more than a few people around. I'm really, really concerned about this, and I'd like you to tell us how we can get a hold of your organization and the types of people you need to move this along. So many people are moving from California to here,
right?
Because of the corruption in California, and I'm afraid some of them bring that with them.
Well, what we need engaged volunteers. Like I said, we recruit people, we train them to observe, to research and observe, and document. And the research is an incredibly important part of it because we spent.
How can we get a hold of you?
Through our website, Election Integrity Project Arizona, or EIPAZ.org. We have Facebook page. Call us. My cell phone number is 602-762-2211. I'll pick it up, except at night I turn it off.
Give it one more time.
My cell phone as the manager is 602-762-2211. But we need engaged people that want to participate in self-governance, because when they said that freedom is not free, they didn't mean you're writing a check.
Right.
You need time. We need volunteers.
We're going to have to go now, Bill. We're
Thank
going to
you,
have
Ron. We
you.
appreciate
We're
it.
going to have you back with some other issues as we move along. Hey, listen, join us again next week because we're going to be fighting back, so you fight back as well.